Hello everyone, my name is Harolda Bryson and I'm a member of the African American Advisory Committee here at the Hunter Museum. Thank you all for attending our Black Professionals at the Hunter event. I'm excited to share with you today a work by artist Faith Ringgold. The title of that work is Groovin' High. Before we get into the artwork itself, I want to share with you a little bit of information about Miss Ringgold's life. Faith Ringgold was born in Harlem, New York in 1930. Miss Ringgold became interested in art at a young age, and her mother, who was a seamstress and fashion designer, encouraged her creative pursuits. In the mid-1950s, Miss Ringgold earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in art, and she went on to earn her master's degree in 1959 while teaching art in the New York City public school system. It was during the 1960s that Miss Ringgold would begin what would become her career as a professional artist. During the 1960s, Miss Ringgold created her first major work, which was a series of oil paintings that depicted political messages in support of the civil rights movement. By the 1970s, Miss Ringgold began to incorporate fabric in her art by creating unstretched acrylic paintings on canvas that were bordered in fabric. This medium was inspired by a Tibetan art form that Miss Ringgold learned about while traveling. During the 1980s, Miss Ringgold's artwork continued to evolve with the use of fabrics, and she began to create what has become known as her most famous medium, and that is quilts. In 1980, Miss Ringgold created her first quilt, and during the next 2 decades, that medium would dominate her repertoire. Miss Ringgold in particular became popular for her story quilts, which incorporated text to tell imaginative, open-ended narratives. And that brings us to our work of art today, Groovin' High. Miss Ringgold created this work in 1986, and in 1996, she recreated it as a print. The Hunter Museum purchased one of those reprints, and it is now a part of their permanent collection. As our planning committee thought about the theme for our Black Professionals at the Hunter event, we wanted to focus on the idea of celebration. And to us, to our committee, Groovin' High evokes a sense of celebration. When I look at this piece, I see celebration on 2 different levels. On one level, there are lots of vivid visual elements, and I see things such as cheerfulness, joyousness, confidence, community, and an overall sense of exuberance. But more importantly, I think that this piece represents celebration for Miss Ringgold personally. As I stated, this piece, or as you can see, this piece depicts what is supposed to be a crowded ballroom, and it was inspired by Miss Ringgold attending Sunday afternoon dances at a famous ballroom called the Savoy in Harlem. And that is important because that is a memory that Miss Ringgold has celebrated through her depiction of this image. When you listen to interviews or read interviews with Miss Ringgold, it's quite evident that Harlem was an important part of her past. And I have a quote that I want to share with you. Miss Ringgold stated, "What made Harlem so famous and important is the people who lived there and went there, who built the African American cultural and historical significance. Miss Ringgold, who is now in her late 80s, potentially even 90, still has so many wonderful memories of her life in Harlem. And when you look at her overall repertoire of work, you will see that celebrated through the subjects, celebrated through the images. Now, it has been a tumultuous year for all of us in so many ways, but I'm confident, I'm willing to bet that for most of us, we can look back on the past 11 months and identify at least one thing in our lives that we can celebrate. Celebrating is important. I found another quote by Miss Ringgold that I want to share with you that I think does a great job of tying in with our theme of celebration. And it states, "Out of every awful thing is something beautiful. As an artist, I want to see the beauty, especially in situations that I can't change and that are so prevalent." This quote is fitting to our program because I think it reminds us that beauty, or at least some good, can be found in almost every situation. Sometimes it's just a matter of us taking the time to look for it. As you all spend the next few seconds taking in the beautiful imagery of this piece, Groove and High, I want to pose a question to you. I want to encourage you all to reflect back on the year 2020 and think about at least one thing that you have to celebrate. What do you have to celebrate? I look forward to hearing your thoughts during our discussion.